with this one, Omar.
The rain from the previous night still left clear traces on every road and slope, turning what seemed like safe routes into dangerously slippery traps. Just a small miscalculation in handling heavy loads, and tens of tons of metal can turn into an uncontrollable mass. And in less than 24 hours, this rescue team had to face 3 such situations in a row. The margin for error was nearly zero. The pressure kept building with every passing minute. The first incident took place on the A1 highway. A cargo truck suddenly overturned in the middle of the road. The container burst open. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Tens of tons of packaged potato chips spilled out, covering a long stretch of the highway. Holy crap, the scene was total chaos. But the biggest concern wasn't the scattered cargo. It was the truck itself. The vehicle lay across the road, its weight entirely shifted to one side, the chassis twisted. If the recovery wasn't handled precisely, it could lead to severe damage or complete loss of control. A combined method was deployed. One crane was assigned to lift the truck body. Other vehicles were used to stabilize and control the direction of rotation. Before proceeding, part of the cargo was cleared to reduce weight, despite the added time, while traffic remained blocked. Once ready, the cables were tightened. The lifting force gradually increased. The truck trembled, emitting the strange sounds of metal under pressure. The operator maintained steady force, avoiding any sudden changes. Slowly, inch by inch, the truck began to rotate, then returned to balance. The moment all 4 wheels touched the ground, the entire scene seemed to release its tension. Traffic finally resumed. The chain of incidents had come to an end. After hours of effort, the team had brought order back from chaos. Before the team could even rest, another emergency call came in. On a nearby freeway, a fuel tanker lost control while taking a curve at high speed. The wheels slipped on the wet surface. Momentum pushed the vehicle out of its lane. In a split second, it broke through the barrier and plunged down an embankment. The tanker lay tilted on its side. The biggest danger now was the fuel inside. One small mistake could lead to catastrophic consequences. The rescue team approached with maximum caution. The area was completely isolated. Every action was tightly controlled to prevent any risk. 2 cranes were positioned at the top of the slope, using long cable systems to reach the vehicle below. However, the steep incline created an extremely unfavorable pulling angle. Any miscalculation could cause the tanker to slide further down or roll again. The solution: create an intermediate anchor point. A support vehicle was placed lower on the slope to redirect the pulling force, reducing direct stress on the tanker.
As you guys saw, I had to rig to the other side really quick. Being able to do this in one shot, bring it up, and then put it straight on the underlift.
The lifting process began in suffocating tension. Every small movement was closely monitored. The tanker slowly rotated. Loose soil and rocks fell with each shift. At times, the entire team seemed to hold their breath as the vehicle swayed dangerously close to losing balance again. No one was certain if their calculations would hold.
him with this one, Omar. Other one. Bye, Ryan, man.
But through precise coordination, the tanker was gradually brought back up to the road.
I'm not holding the cables. All the way. There you go, more. You got it.
The situation was fully under control. One major challenge had been overcome, and then another one emerged.
We're pretty much done hooking up to the rotator, baby. We're out of here. Peace out.
An unexpected incident caused a truck to overturn across the highway. When the rescue team arrived at the scene, it was pure chaos. A container truck weighing tens of thousands of pounds lay blocking the road, its body tilted heavily to one side. Without hesitation, the rescue crew quickly deployed a recovery plan to bring the vehicle back to a safe and stable position. The site was quickly sealed off. The challenge now was more complex than simply lifting the machine back up. Any uncontrolled movement could cause the surrounding ground to collapse further. The rescue team chose a step-by-step lifting approach. A heavy-duty crane was deployed, its boom extended, precisely hooking onto carefully calculated load-bearing point. Every inch of movement was under control. As the lifting force kicked in, the machine trembled slightly. A stop command was issued immediately. They adjusted the pulling angle, reinforced the ground, then continued. After multiple attempts and recalibrations, the machine was finally restored to a stable position. What a relief! A small error led to hours of intense recovery work, but that was only the beginning. Three consecutive incidents, pressure upon pressure. Limits constantly tested. In moments like these, success isn't defined by brute strength, but by the ability to remain calm when everything is unfolding unpredictably. Assess the situation correctly, adapt in time, and choose the right solution instead of stubbornly sticking to the original plan. In the end, the true value of every rescue operation isn't just restoring vehicles to safety, but ensuring that everyone walks away unharmed. Because sometimes the distance between a successful rescue and a far greater disaster is only a few inches of movement and a few seconds of decision. Back-to-back calls within less than 8 hours, each one a situation that could have ended with a plunge off a cliff. The wind shifts constantly along the Nordic mountainside. Offshore, a new storm system is forming. Weather radar doesn't lie. We have very little time before conditions completely deteriorate. The first call comes in before the sun even rises above the horizon. A tractor, semi-trailer combination has lost control on an icy slope. We immediately positioned the Volvo FH16 8x4 recovery unit. On ice where traction is nearly non-existent, a confident straight pull could turn into a fatal mistake. I quickly assess the angle. The center of gravity has shifted to the right. Pulling directly uphill would only push the mass further down. The first priority isn't pulling, it's restoring balance. Two cables are set up in a triangular force configuration, one to hold the vehicle laterally and prevent sliding, the other to control the rotation of the cab. As the winch tightens, the load gauge begins to climb, nearly 60,000 pounds of force acting on a machine weighing tens of tons. In the first few seconds, the trailer slips further downward. My heart skips a beat. That's a natural reaction when the pulling force hasn't yet overcome static friction. But on a slope like this, natural reaction can mean disaster. Then, the movement stops. No one speaks. No one takes their eyes off the cables or the stabilizer. If the stabilizer sinks even a few inches, the recovery truck could be dragged along. The cab begins to rotate, degree by degree, so slowly it's almost imperceptible. When the front wheels finally reach a patch of asphalt with better grip, I know we've passed the most dangerous point. Only then do we begin pulling the entire combination upward. Through the thick fog that obscures visibility, we finally exhale in relief. And perhaps, if we had chosen the wrong pulling angle at the start, it would have been a very different story. We haven't even left the first scene when the second call comes in. A school bus is stuck on a dirt road leading into a small residential area. Melting snow has turned the road into thick mud. The 33,000-pound vehicle is sunk nearly to its rear axle, with just enough tilt to create torsional stress on the frame. The problem isn't just pulling it out. If we bring the recovery truck too close, we risk creating another victim. The team decides to keep distance, using a long cable to distribute load over a wider ground area. The first pull from the rear fails. The wheels spin. The mud doesn't give. Heavy. Difficult. Stay calm. In situations like this, pushing for 5 more seconds could sink the vehicle several more inches. I lower the pulling angle to avoid lifting the front. If the center of gravity shifts too quickly, the rear will sink deeper and the frame could deform. Looking at the deep ruts, we change strategy, pulling from the front. On the second attempt, the pulling force increases steadily. We maintain it like fine-tuning a precision control. The frame begins returning to neutral. The tilt decreases. Then, the rear wheels break free. The entire bus shifts onto firmer ground. Yes, success. Just as we finish, the first gusts of the storm sweep through. Snow begins blowing across the road. Watching the bus move forward again brings an indescribable sense of calm. Time isn't always on your side. In heavy recovery, it's often your most dangerous opponent. The final challenge of the day truly pushes the limits of error tolerance. A semi has slid sideways on a narrow road, less than a meter from the cliff edge. Snowfall is so heavy that it's impossible to distinguish the boundary between road and empty space. The margin for error is nearly zero. We deploy a rotator weighing over 165,000 pounds. Before attaching any cables, every stabilizer must be absolutely secure. If the ground beneath us fails, everything ends instantly. The principle remains: secure first, pull second. One cable anchors backward to prevent further sliding. The second begins adjusting the cab. As the pulling force exceeds 100,000 pounds, every movement is calculated with extreme precision. I can feel the road vibrating slightly beneath my feet. Chunks of snow slide off the edge. Everything moves incredibly slowly, but on the load gauge, we see force turning into real movement. The cab rotates a few more inches. When the front wheels clear the danger zone, the tension visibly decreases. The rest becomes more manageable. Only when the entire semi is safely back within the lane do we retract the cables. No one celebrates, because everyone knows if the force had been off by just a few degrees, the outcome could have been very different. Three scenes in one day, three different problems of center of gravity, pulling force, and terrain conditions. No two recoveries are ever the same. In heavy recovery, victory doesn't come from raw strength. It comes from understanding exactly which forces are acting, where, and for how long. On icy roads, in deep mud, and at the edge of cliffs, there is always a way out. But that way out doesn't appear by luck. It appears when you calculate everything correctly, before nature does it for you.